All right, g'day Scallops, and welcome back to Is Not Top Scallop.
A conversation about Top Chef, Season 22, Destination Canada.
Oh yeah, and from Austin, Texas, I am Johnny.
And from Baltimore, Maryland, I'm Christy.
All right, Christy, let's get into it. Episode 2, Season 22, in Canada. Still don't understand why. I'll probably be saying that till the end, but I love it. The Great White North. Let's go. I'm loving Season 22 so far. It seems to me like the old Top Chef is back. You know, really, again, Kristen Kish in her stride. The chefs are interesting. The food translates well so far. Let's go. What was your impression on episode 2?
I'm really digging the season so far. I think there are a lot of super talented chefs. Plus, a lot of them have charisma that maybe season 21 didn't have. So I think that's a great combo for the show. Kish has a great vibe. I love to see how well she's getting on with Tom and Gail and the contestants. The only thing that isn't great is just the over-the-top product placement.
Yep.
I think that it's just kind of gotten worse over the years. But I mean, she's been a model, she's been a chef, she's now, a host of Top Chef. She's not a salesperson. That's a different thing.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead, but let's jump. The Wells Fargo
active cash credit card.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, it's just, yeah, I feel like I was kind of like when someone puts their hands down your pants in the way that you weren't expecting. Like
That's awesome.
Not necessarily unwelcome, just unexpected. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, I hadn't, okay, in the grocery store, right, fair. But, yeah, today we opened, it was a pretty weird opening on the episode. We had,
I loved it. Who knew that
I love the
Massimo was Yogi?
No one. Amazing. Which, again, paints a great picture for him.
I love that Massimo was not only participating in the yoga, but he was
leading
leading the practice. Yeah. And
open your pelvic floor. That's going to stay with me forever.
I wonder how many women he says that to.
Probably a lot.
Right, probably.
Dudes. He might be a dude's dude.
That's
he could
true.
Easily be a dude's dude.
Or, both. Why not?
Or everyone. Why not?
So, but yeah, I think that I might have misjudged Massimo, and I'm really kind of happy about that.
I think Massimo, he definitely, obviously he's giving the producers of the show plenty to work with.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Your boy Schwei, for example, not so big on the personality loudness, so he would be harder to edit in. But it's nice because they did sort of, the intro and the first episode, they did sort of paint him as possibly the loudmouth asshole that everyone hates. And then second episode, boom, we haven't had any of those him yelling cuts for this episode. And yeah, the yoga goes really great. But yeah, I thought this episode was super. Plenty of tension, plenty of drama, couple of twists. I don't know about the hardcore Canadiana stereotype. Yeah, sure, we were going to always have to have a poutine episode. I think maybe that poutine episode could have come when there weren't 14 chefs and maybe when there were 7. But, whatever, that's...
If you were smart, you definitely practiced some poutine or at least conceptualized a few ideas for poutine. So let's just get this out of the way at the beginning.
Sure, fair. If you did not come to the table with a poutine recipe, you don't belong on the show.
No, you do not.
To be honest, if you don't come to the table with 5 poutine recipes, what if they make us do it vegan? What if they make us do it with fruit instead of vegetables? What if they make us reimagine a poutine, but Michelin star? Come on.
That's why I was at least conceptualize it, probably have a few different options, because who knows what's going to be in the kitchen on any given day.
Roger,
they change that pantry and take things out of it and put things back whenever it, is going to make the challenge a little bit more exciting.
Just to sprinkle in some difficulty. But again, and the same thing, and then going to the maple syrup, okay, stereotype Canada. I feel like we don't, the story doesn't really go into anything sort of authentically Canadian. It seemed to me more of a nod to what Americans imagine Canadians eat all the time. But
I mean, that's
you
how
know,
they open the challenge. They're like,
sure,
when you think of Canada, what's the food that you think about first?
yeah,
Everybody
which is
says
poutine.
poutine.
Yeah. There was once again we got some clock drama. Like season 22, chefs all super experienced, and second episode in a row, people running out of time, which again, I think that is great tension. It's like another one of those things where you can have, it just adds to the top chefiness of Top Chef if like people are imagining difficult things and they're not having the capacity to do it. I love that. And of course, Daniel Boulud. Gotta love him.
Absolutely.
Classy little French man. I feel like so far this season and definitely this episode, there's been more of those genuinely interesting type dishes, which is like, I could see myself making that.
Or yeah, absolutely.
And I think more than that, and sometimes the food, like it's hard because it's a TV show about food. You don't look at food so much as eat it, although they do say one dines with one's eyes. But I feel like, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this too. I feel like the food so far in this season has sort of translated well from the television into my imagination, and I can kind of see the thought process of the chefs and like, what are you doing? What does it look like? I can imagine what it might taste like. And I think that's something that's really fundamental to the enjoyment of the show for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatable. It's not stuff that's so far out of your reach. The ingredients aren't so crazy that you wouldn't be able to find them, at your local grocery store. They've made it so far something that you could easily do. And I love Twyla. Twyla's in the house.
Okay,
Schitt's
do
Creek.
you do? I have no
Yeah.
fucking clue who that is. I've never watched the show.
Oh, you've never watched Schitt's Creek?
No,
Okay.
no, neither.
So
No, my wife hasn't either, and so we were watching it, and everyone's going, "Oh my god, Twyla, she's so amazing!" Like she looks like a person.
so poutine.
Poutine.
What
Do
would
you
you
like
have made?
poutine? Well, I got a few things. About this. I'd never really had poutine until I was much older, until I was in my mid-20s. I went to Canada the first time. We don't do poutine in Australia. I'd never heard of it before. We don't do. There's one place in Austin maybe that does poutine.
Huh?
But poutine is something that I will fuck with because I love making gravy. I love making French fries plus cheese. It's like perfect. So the thing is, and when you ask me, I'm like being a wanker about it because I'm saying, oh, I would make my favorite French fries and, blah, blah, blah. Because the French fries that I would make are like a version of the Heston Blumenthal 3-step, takes you 4 weeks to make them kind of chips. Where you like soak them in cold water overnight. You parboil them in like vinegar water. Then you air dry them. Then you freeze them. Then you deep fry them in cold oil. Then you stop. And then you deep fry them again in hot oil. And they're supposed to have the texture of a church window on the outside.
Okay.
And then they're like mashed potato on the inside. Get them right, it's fucking perfect. But it takes forever. I don't know how that would work in the Top Chef kitchen. Oh boy, does the nitro freeze, and we can get into this down the track, but like I would do that. The mushroom, onion, garlic thing, maybe with baby mozzarella instead of curds. The other thing that I thought of though, after I was thinking about it, is that's like poutine. How would you make a version of poutine? And I was like, what else could you do? Because the challenge is not actually to make poutine. The challenge is to make a version of poutine, 30 minutes, with a starchy vegetable base, a sauce, and cheese. So you don't have to make a vegetable covered in sauce and cheese per se. So I was thinking to make halloumi cheese, like the grilled halloumi, with a Greek topping called scodalia, which is made with potatoes and garlic.
Okay.
It's like a potato, garlic, olive oil emulsion. And I would just do that with like some lemon or something on top of the halloumi cheese. Just a piece of cheese with the scodalia, and that would fill all of the requirements.
But I wonder if that would be a little too far out there, because a couple of the things that they make are a little too far out there, in my opinion.
Sure, I would lose. What about you? When you say poutine, are you like, I have a poutine, I love poutine? What would you do?
Well, Baltimore folks have certainly been influenced by poutine in that we love French fries and brown gravy. It's just something that's on, cafe and diner menus everywhere.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get that from a fish and chip shop in Australia. If you order a
Okay.
bag like chips, you can sometimes get and can I have gravy with it? And it'll be like roast beef dinner type gravy, that brown gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So, there's also a place nearby that does a poutine. So I would take a little bit of that and then a little bit of just the fries and brown gravy. I think that I would, instead of fucking around waiting for the deep fryers, I'd get a pot. Um, if they have duck fat, I would do the fries in
Oh,
duck fat.
yes. Oh my God.
Duck fat, roast beef, brown gravy, maybe do some like shredded roast beef on top, and then Gruyere.
Oh, mate. That's, yeah. So, okay. So compared to my fucking stupid halloumi and scotto, which is like too clever. It's just fucking too clever for its own good. But that, what you just described, that's super. And the duck fat, to be honest, I didn't think of that. And it's like, it seemed like the backlog was for the fryer. I bet you they did have duck fat. If they didn't, I bet you they had canola oil.
Duck fat, lard, pork fat, something.
Anything.
They probably had some kind of good fat in there that they could have used for that. And I also think that maybe put all of that on a bed of arugula. That way you get a little bit of a bitterness note in there to balance the
Cut the
salty
heaviness.
and
Yep.
the salt, the richness of the cheese and gravy. Plus a little, splash of green on the plate.
So is poutine as it is common in Baltimore, or is it chips and gravy, like fries and gravy that you
Fries
would
and
get
gravy.
at the same?
Fries
And
and gravy.
Is it a drunk food?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's, diner at 3 a.m.
Right. Yeah. See, we don't do that at home in Australia, in Sydney. We'd be having kebabs, like a classic Turkish kebab. Same in Berlin. I will remember when I was living in Philly. If you want late night food, you get a cheesesteak. Like that's
Or
that's how
Philly.
it goes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We have
In Texas.
we have a chain of diners here that when I was like 3 and 4 years old, my grandmother was taking us to the original one, which is right down the street from my house.
Sick.
It's called Double T Diner. They are open 24/7. And I can't count how many times I've been there with family during normal hours for a meal. And I also can't count how many times I've been there at, 3 o'clock in the morning to get something
Shit
to
canned,
soak
just
up.
like I'm
Yeah,
about to die. Yep.
exactly. And that's just kind of a thing that we do here in Baltimore. That's our diner food is it.
For us, midnight food here in Austin, Texas is Whataburger.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. You are lining up in your car or truck, probably in your truck, at 3
Yeah, it's
a.m.
Texas.
after the bar, and you are waiting for 45 minutes till you get to the window, and you are having Whataburger or the honey chicken butter biscuit thing, which is
That
pretty
sounds
bad.
good.
But yeah, it does, and it is, but it's not because it's Whataburger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is because it's a honey chicken biscuit, and you're like, fuck off at 3 a.m. But yeah, we don't really get the curds down here in the South. And when you say gravy in Tejas, gravy is something you put on a biscuit or a chicken fried steak, and it is white colored.
Okay.
That's what gravy is here. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but what about brown gravy? It's like, they don't have
Well,
that.
and for my family, gravy is tomato sauce.
That's a Northeast thing, isn't it? Right? They call it gravy, but what they really mean is like bolognese.
It's an Italian thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking weird. And that kind of makes sense. We'll get to it, but it makes sense because Vinny actually says something like that.
He does.
Down
He
the
does.
track.
Yeah.
But yeah, protein. It's one of those things. The dish becomes more than the sum of its parts, right? It's chips. You want crispy chips. You want that gravy, and the squeaky cheese. The thing with the gravy, I think, is the most important thing. If it's too wet, the whole thing becomes a soggy mess. But if you get the brown gravy just right, it actually doesn't soak in. It sort of
and if you get the
sits on the
chips,
top.
if you get the chips crispy enough on the outside,
Right.
it's a perfect combination.
The two things will sit there against each other and the gravy won't wreck the chips. They just sort of slop on the top. Yeah, exactly. So, there we go. So yeah, I think notably, just as we're summing up, I think they all did really well. There was a few mistakes that were pretty obvious, and again, we'll go through it as we go through the dishes. Yeah, a few mistakes that were pretty obvious. Notably, Kristen Kish returns to utensils down,
Mm-hmm. Yep. She didn't say it last week. You were right.
which was, she said, hands off your dishes. And I wonder if everyone was like, shut the fuck up, Kristen. Don't say that. Don't try and do anything new, mate. Come on.
Maybe it was the producers who were like, Kish, here you go. You said this and you're supposed to say that.
Yeah. Hey, Chrissy, we love you, but...
Yeah, exactly. You're doing great. However, you got to say the line.
Yeah. Yeah. There are some, it's a small script, but you have to stick to it. Cool. So, like I said, everyone did pretty good. Let's go through the dishes, as they came out in order.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that they start with Corwin and he literally says, I've never made a poutine. What are you doing?
That bad. It's like I feel like what are you doing? You must know that you're going to get a poutine. Yeah.
Did you not think that they were going to do poutine? Did you not Google what do Canadians eat?
So at this point, we've gotten done two of the three main ingredients for me in Canada. You got poutine, you got maple syrup, and hockey. And hockey's coming up next week, I think.
Awesome.
That's it. That's all we've got left in Canada after that. So yeah, twice cooked potato dredged in cornstarch. I don't know about the cornstarch. I feel like you don't want that in a potato.
It helps make it really crispy.
Really? It works? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
If you go to make wings and you want them to be really, really crispy, then toss them in some cornstarch, and they will get really super crispy. It's great.
Okay. He do it, and then what's his sauce? Jamaican browning sauce, caramelized onion, garlic, and cotija. I mean, that sounds kind of good.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds kind of good. Followed by Kat, who, as they said, has the most traditional of them all. She does crispy potato with mushroom gravy, smoked soy, and cheddar cheese curds. Smoked soy. Did you catch that as smoked soy sauce, or was it it looked like there were these little weird things in the dish poking up, and I wondered if that was like the yuba, the soy skin on like the soy pieces.
Either that or maybe I don't know, like a compressed soy, something like that. I don't think it was smoked soy sauce. I think it was, I think that it was the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, she seemed like a bit, when she's like, oh my God, everyone else made something so great, and mine's like, what? But
they liked it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think that was relatively smart to be pretty simple. Next, followed by Shuai. Yeah, again, obviously he wins. He had this in the bag from the beginning. He's the only one that's like, I practiced the shit out of this. I knew it was coming.
Yes.
So I tried to do something different. I didn't want to do something the same as everyone else. Yeah.
Do you know he did his homework.
Yeah, right. Fondant potato. Have you made? I've never made one. Can you do that? Have you made one?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I'm going to.
Yeah, they're really good.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not terribly difficult. Just being a home cook, just peel your potato and then make the slices nice and thick. He actually, I think, cut them out so that they were uniform and perfect for this. But yeah, you do it in a bunch of broth and they soften up nicely. Yeah, I think it was smart for him to do the fondant potato. It was a good idea.
Right. And it didn't involve the deep fryer.
Right. Which he probably thought everybody's going to go for that deep fryer.
Right. I'm not going to make the same French fries that everyone else is going to make. Blah, blah, blah. And even when he says, I practiced this, I knew it was coming, Gail kind of drops almost like oh, well, there, kind of, as she's finishing up his dish. But, yeah, he's cool. I like Shuai. He's got a cool vibe.
Yeah, I do too.
And he's obviously pretty creative. I don't know if they're setting him up as the Buddha Low of this season, like now that every season needs a Buddha. So, I don't
think he's quite that refined.
No.
I've actually eaten at Jackrabbit Philly in Charleston, South Carolina. It was good, but it was more casual.
Rustic.
I don't know, with the area where it was casual. So it was really good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. And so it was cool when I saw that Shuai was on this season. I'm like, oh, that's the guy who owns Jackrabbit Philly. So It's always neat when you've already eaten their food and they come on the show.
Yeah, if he's compared to the Buddha, it's because he's like done the prep rather than because he's like, I feel like Buddha was always like, everything was so calculated and so refined and so perfected.
Yeah. Whereas
Uh,
Schwei started with a food truck before he had his brick and mortar restaurant. So, he's really kind of worked up in a different way. Not that Buddha didn't start off as a dishwasher. It was
yeah,
just
but he started off in his family restaurant when he was like a child. Yeah, so
yeah.
it's different.
So,
Totally
but
different.
yeah, just a different journey.
Catiana, potato tostoni. I don't like tostonis. Um, I remember going to Costa Rica, and that's all that they have. So I would never have called that a tostone.
It's a smashed potato.
So Jamie
And I've made
Oliver,
those before.
yeah, there's a Jamie Oliver dish called smashed chats, and it's the same. It's the same thing. Yeah, you boil the little round potatoes, and then you take them off, and then you smash them, and then you fry them again in beef tallow. Fucking super. I just wouldn't have called it a toast. I just would not have sold it as a tostone.
Yeah, and I don't know, this dish didn't look great to me. It looked like it wasn't enough potato. It was mostly the sauce of the fermented soybean, and then the enoki mushrooms. Enokis are not really my thing. I love mushrooms. Enokis are not something that I'm going to reach for most of the time, and for some reason the texture of burrata is also not me.
Really, I
If
love
you
it.
like those sorts of things,
Yeah.
I'm sure this dish was amazing.
So
It just wasn't for me.
No, we have a total polar opposite on this one. I love burrata.
I mean, I
And
love fresh mozzarella, but burrata, it's just a little too runny for me.
the weirdness inside it. Yeah.
Yeah, not my thing.
To me, the fermented soybean and burrata together, I'm hearing this and going, this could be fucking incredible. I agree with you. The potato, there's just one potato.
Yeah,
and
there might have been more under all of that, but you could really only see the one, and I'm like, it's unbalanced.
Yeah, could easily have been 3 potatoes and that same amount of gear. Yeah, I love the sound of this. I love the sound of this. I like the look of it. It was a little bit of a slop look, but the sound, if I saw that on a menu, again, minus the tostoni part, I would order that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing though. It comes out kind of mid, and I'm sure we'll get into this down the track, but this is where I feel like Catiana is at. She has done a bunch of things and I'm like, I would order that. That sounds great. And then stayed in the mid. So,
I mean, we're only 2 episodes in. She, there's plenty of time for her to jump to the front.
To blossom. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of staying in the mid with big promises, Lana comes up with the sweet potato fries, gumbo gravy, cheddar curds. Fucking great sounding, except sweet potato. Sweet potato is fucking stupid. They never turn out good. Sweet potato fries never turn out good. They're always soft.
Yeah, they're just not going to get as crispy as you want if you're going to put a wetter sauce on it like this.
Every time I think sweet potato fry, I think sweet potato flavor with the texture of French fry. Yes, please.
Yeah,
and
then you
never
don't get that
turns
texture
out that way.
Yeah.
You get the sweet potato texture with the flavor of sweet potato, and it's like, brr. Yeah. And I bet you that if she had done the same fry but with a thick cut potato, this dish would have been on the top because the gumbo gravy sounds great. Yeah.
I wonder if she used any like sausage or shrimp in the gumbo gravy. You didn't really see a lot of what she was doing. Excuse me. I like the idea of the gumbo gravy, but also for a real gumbo, you got to work on that roux for a very long time. So the idea of getting enough of that flavor in 30 minutes, I don't know that it's what I would have done given the time constraint.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, speaking of mid or towards the bottom, next up was porpala, secco poutine with green plantains, cotija. Sounds good, but you know straight from the beginning. And she said it when they're interviewing her. She said it. It's going to be wet.
Yeah. And nobody wants a wet poutine.
Nope. Too tomatoey. It's the same we were talking about before. Like the gravy, that thickness of the gravy stops it from penetrating. But I feel like the thinness of the tomato That's what's going to beat that dish every time.
Well, and then Sarah Levy asks if the plantains are fried or if they were done in the oven. So that makes me think that they were definitely not crispy enough
Yep.
against that stewy sauce.
And that's, to me, that's like, I don't want that plantain. I don't want a soft, mushy plantain with anything on top, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, not surprised even remotely that she ends up, not surprised that she ends up on the bottom. You know, again, when you compare it with Massimo, with Shuai, yeah, like, for sure. Speaking of which, Massimo did the potato roulade, the sauce mornay, and the beef reduction. It's pretty simple.
But it was beautiful. I love the
good.
minimalist look of the plate.
Yep.
The only thing that I might have changed would do maybe put some like minced chives for color. That said, I think it was a great idea for the challenge. I think it's something that he thought about ahead of time. Maybe he practiced it. He doesn't say either way, but I'm sure that when he heard poutine, he was like, I've got this dish. Because I don't know. I just think it was so classy.
Yep. Perfect. Exactly. And I feel like that he's got a lot of that kind of classic technique. He does the same thing like with the fish scales from last episode.
Yes.
He's actually got a lot of depth. But it is pretty respectful because he's getting the flavor of the poutine, like with the sauce mornay, with the beef reduction. That is chips, cheese curds, brown gravy. Yeah. So he kind of gets the traditional poutine, but repackages it in a clever, but also respectfully classic way, which again, I really like. And again, it's no surprise that he's up there on the top with that because it's simple and beautiful. Vinny's potato tomato gravy, parmesan mousse, lemon, and basil oil or basil if you'd prefer. Is that just a sauce with another sauce? Is that like a sauce with a mousse on top?
No, I think that he had potatoes underneath the tomato gravy, then the Parmesan mousse, then the lemon and basil oil. He's sticking with his Italian flavors and still giving the basics of the dish. I just think it might be a little too far from the original poutine. I don't know that I would ever look at what he made and go, oh, that's a nice play on a poutine.
Great take on a poutine. It's sort of like, I wish this potato was a piece of fish, you know?
Yeah.
Or whatever, or a pork chop or something. Yeah, so it seemed a bit like, it was sort of like, maybe you're right, too, like a little overwrought. Cool. Then we have like Tristan with his sort of loaded fries vibe, yucca fries with jira. I don't know what jira is. Do you know what jira is? I didn't even look it up.
I don't, but I do know what ahi amarillo is, and I
Sure.
really, really like it.
Yep. Yeah. Kielbasa, not my sausage of choice, but I can see why it would go well in this. The only thing, I'm thinking paneer. Paneer is the most boring of cheeses. It's like the cheese that doesn't taste like cheese.
I don't know. I don't mind paneer. Cotija is not my favorite. But feta is not my favorite, and cotija to me is Mexican feta.
Okay. So, married to a Greek, so I love feta.
Okay. And I mean, I enjoy feta in certain applications. It works. It's got its place in certain cuisine. It's just never going to be my go-to. Right.
Yeah, you got to get the good stuff. Otherwise, it's bland as shit. Cotija, I see what you're saying. It is like the Mexican feta a little bit, but I live here in the South. I live like closer to Mexico than to the edge of, I live closer to Mexico than I live to Arizona, Oklahoma, or New Orleans, or Louisiana. So cotija, we get that. And
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
I'm going to put that bad boy on my breakfast taco with bacon, egg, and cactus like every time.
That sounds good, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it looks good. It's just, yeah. I don't know if it
looked like a mess. It just looked like a mess. Like and to be honest, I feel like he was a bit more like on himself about it than it deserved. But sure, and the yucca fries as well. Like
he literally says as he's peeling the yucca, it's going to give a bit of a different texture. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We want the texture of a good French fry.
And yucca is not that. The yucca texture is a different texture. I like it, and there's a place near me that does good yucca fries, but I would not have put that. It's got like a weird sort of, it's got that real pithy, starchy, it's like an over starchy sort of thing, which
Yes.
I think it's, and then with the like probably bland paneer, I'm like not jazzed on this. So, but whatever. He didn't win, so I'm,
Yeah. And then we get to Henry
right?
with his
Poor guy.
scallion yucca pancake, Gruyere
Which I think
cheese
is-
sauce, and chili oil.
Mate, disqualified. Disqualified. Not in the challenge for me. Scallion yucca pancake is too far removed.
It does
from
not fit the
highlighting
brief.
I mean, technically it does in that it has yucca in
It's
it.
starchy,
It has
but
a
it's
starchy
It's
vegetable.
pancake.
Right.
It's not a
It is-
fry.
Nope. And I think, again, if it does technically fit the rules of the brief, it does not fit the spirit.
Again, I would never look at that and think poutine. It's just not. It's too far from what they were asking for, I think.
What's your vibe on a scallion pancake? Do you like?
I
is that
love
something-
scallion
Yeah, okay.
pancakes, kimchi pancakes, all kinds of Asian vegetable pancakes. I could eat them every single day.
Absolutely the same. Now, have you fucked with them yourself? Have you tried to make like that traditional Chinese or Asian style scallion pancake? Because I certainly have.
I think that we've tried to make those a couple times and it didn't turn out great. However, I do make a good kimchi pancake. So I feel like I could try the scallion
back to the
pancakes
scallion?
again and get them nail it this time.
I'm gonna not lie to you. I would never lie to you, Christy. I fuck with the bag of kimchi pancake mix from my Korean grocery. Like, I don't know what's in it. It's probably just the different flours and chemicals, but it makes the kimchi pancakes perfectly, to the point where now I've worked out how to do it in the waffle iron, and so I make these like kimchi
Awesome idea. I love
pancake
that.
waffles.
Well, and I won't lie to you either. At the local H Mart, the scallion pancakes in the freezer section, they're
Fucking
so
great.
easy.
Yeah.
They're good. They're easy. They're fast.
Yeah.
So
And
if
then
I
then
don't feel
I
like
don't have to
fucking
make a bad one.
around, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to make a bad one. And because that's the thing. That's why it was a leading question, mate. The reason I said, have you ever fucked with a scallion pancake, is because I have, and I fucked up more scallion pancakes than I have made. I was talking about it with the wife as we were watching the show, and she said, yeah, there have been a lot of scallion pancake breakfasts that were just pretty spongy and shit. Thank you, my sweet love. But yeah, and to be honest, like we said, the scallion yucca thing, it's not even poutine. This is on the bottom. It's on the bottom for me, but even if it's good, because it's not. a
It
poutine.
doesn't fit the brief, really.
And then it's like a stodgy, shitty scallion pancake. And Gail's like, the pancake. What's the rationale behind that? And he says, oh, my mum
How did
made
you come
it.
to
It's like,
this? Yeah.
yeah. But he does say mums do it with feel and I need it in grams. I'm like, bro, don't say, like, and then you did it anyway?
If you need it, I understand needing something in grams when you're baking, but when you're cooking, I get moms do it with feel, because it's like, you just keep, as an Italian, you just keep adding, and I have like a lot of Southern roots too. So you just keep doing what you're doing until you hear your ancestors whispering in your ear, that's enough, child. And then it's time to back off.
Do you hear that a lot?
I mean, I hear all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing like the ghosts of the ancestors helping out on the range. Yeah. So cool. Poor Henry. I like him. I think he's got some creative shit, because he did the chopped up tartare last week, which was like, and the thing with the lentil thing, that's cool.
Yes.
At least he's trying, to be fair, he's trying, and obviously he's like trying to fold in some sort of Asian background into what he's doing. I respect that. He fucked it up. Quick fires nowadays, you can fuck up, you lose the money, but you don't lose the advantage. So, cool. All right. Zuby, my guy.
Yeah, I'm really
Poutine,
starting to like him. I think that he's got a lot to offer.
is it? I kind of didn't want to like him because of his story, because I'm like, I don't know, he's like, I was a banker and now I'm a chef. I'm like,
So he realized that being a banker sucks.
right.
It's stressful. You might make a lot of money, but it's super stressful. And I mean, I don't know.
He's definitely cool. He obviously gives a shit, and that's and that's cool. Again, I really like the sound of what he did. Fingerling potatoes with a mint cilantro, serrano chutney, and crispy gnocchi mushrooms. That sounds good. It doesn't necessarily sound like what I want from a poutine. It sounds like a good
Again, I
dish.
agree with you on that. And I know earlier I said I don't normally fuck with the gnocchi mushrooms, but these look really good. The crispy element on the top of it, I thought that looked great. And the sound of the mint cilantro serrano chutney, love that idea.
Agreed. Yeah, fully agreed. If you don't like gnocchi mushrooms, there's a recipe I'll send you, or thing I want to send you. It's where you take the whole gnocchi. You know how they come like as a clump? You take the whole clump, you trim the back off, you wrap the stems half the way up in nori, like a strip of or strips of nori seaweed, and
Mm-hmm.
then you really lightly dredge it in rice flour and then deep fry the bastard.
Okay. Yeah.
That works out good.
Okay. I would definitely
Probably
try that.
probably with a fingerling, with a mint cilantro serrano chutney. But yeah, again, I'm not seeing this winning. It's too much for a poutine, and he doesn't win. He's kind of in the middle, but he's cooking good food. So,
On to
Cesar.
Cesar. This was, again, I wouldn't look at this and think poutine. There's fried fingerlings, roasted corn, cilantro mayonnaise, a spuma of cotija, and then poblanos.
I love an espuma.
This just looks, again, I would not look at this and think poutine. It does look yummy.
I wouldn't order it.
And it
I
fits
wouldn't
all the
order it on the menu.
requirements. I wouldn't order it if you called it a poutine. I don't know. It's just the corn and the poblano, I think, take it in a very different direction.
That is exactly right. That's exactly how to say it. The corn and poblano take it away from a poutine for sure. For sure. It kind of the same with Zubair, and even the same with Henry. It's like all of these things that are like, yeah, it sort of fits, but it's like, yeah, but a poutine is really simple. And
Yeah. I
it's
love
like
the
a thing.
idea of bringing your heritage and the food that you love to cook into every challenge. I don't have a problem with that. But I just think it went a bit far.
Anya. Oh, look, she does a Russian poutine.
It's not a poutine. There's no cheese.
Okay, cool. You got that too. She does a Russian-inspired poutine a la stroganoff with chanterelle, sour cream, and herbs. Where the fuck is the cheese?
Yeah,
What
she
cheese is she
doesn't say
using?
the cheese at
She
all.
doesn't use cheese. She is disqualified. I say she should pack your knives and go now. But
No. Yeah, there's no cheese. I do love that she's bringing her Russian heritage into each dish. It might get old eventually, but this just doesn't. I don't know. This really doesn't fit the brief. And actually, later on in my notes, I write that yes, they are making her this season's potato girl. It's just she's Russian girl.
I am Russian. Everything I do come from Russian heritage. Yeah, which is, again, that's cool. If that's your identity, that's cool. But it is not going to win you Top Chef. Like that, you are not going to win Top Chef with that one note way of looking things. And I guess, is that it? We rounded out with Bailey. Poor Bailey. She's had the edit from hell this show. I mean, Korean street food inspired shrimp arrabbiata mozzarella thing. Poutine. Again, the idea of this, the poutine with the kimchi and mozzarella.
I don't like kimchi and cheese together. I know that it's a thing that so many people love, but I don't love it.
I feel you, and I am not always a big fan neither. There's a place called Cilantro here in Austin that does that. Like, that's their vibe, is like the loaded fries with kimchi and other shit. They do a really great job of it. She just piles too much on. It's so overloaded and so muddles. She goes on this whole thing about how she's like got a real thing about making French fries. And there's an art to making French fries. And then she slathers it with all the other stuff.
You're right. It's so much.
Yeah, and she's trying to be Italian and she's trying to be Korean because she says here, I worked at Parachute, that's the Beverly Kim connection. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's the restaurant that she worked at before she worked at Sarah Grunenberg's restaurant, which is Beverly Kim. So that's a nice
I can't
little
believe she went from working with Beverly to working with Sarah. That's like such a smack in Beverly's face.
Well, apparently they're good now. Again, the general
Yeah, I
vibe that I
know,
get on
but
the internet,
still.
I think as Top Chef viewers, we are all traumatized by the bullying that we were party to of Top Chef
It was not
Texas.
great. It was not great.
Yeah, a low point in television history.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
to be mean to a nice person. 101.
Well, so getting back to Bailey and this dish, they didn't really talk to her about the dish before dismissing her. And then Massimo, they cut to Massimo's face and it was priceless. You can tell that he was like, what the hell was that? So that was great. And that could just be fun editing. Might not have
It might
actually
have been from
been
something
his...
else, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Then we get to our elimination challenge. They roll in Daniel Boulud, freshly dyed hair, looking like a little classic little Frenchman. We're going to Cafe Boulud. I didn't realize he had a Toronto connection, but obviously he does.
No, but let's go back. When he walked through the door, I think some of the chefs might have even creamed their jeans. The looks on their faces, they were like, oh my God. And I get that he is a superstar in the culinary world. It was just some of their faces were hilarious, especially Bailey's. She really was just like, so yeah. I think we saw her O face.
Her O face, wow. So yeah, I mean, I like Daniel Boulud. He seems like he comes across anyway as a really cool dude. Like, the same. I put Daniel Boulud in the same basket as Eric Repair, probably because of Top Chef. That they both come across as like cool French guys who live in North America. Well, maybe they live, but yeah. Then we get this whole story about a sugar shack. Where they boil up the maple sauce, and that's all we get about it.
I think it's funny. They talk about the small wooden building where they boil the sap into syrup, and then it eventually became a huge dining hall where they would serve brunch. And then they go to Daniel Boulud's restaurant, which is not
that.
No. I mean, it's great that they're there, but I thought they were going to end up at a big dining hall. Yeah, yeah.
At the place they're talking about, that's central to the challenge?
Yeah, it just kind of made sense to me.
It would make sense to me too, but we didn't. It was very, again, this fills my bucket of why are we in Canada?
Yeah.
So, what about the souffle? Was he specifically asking for a souffle?
When Daniel Boulud says, I love souffle, you make Daniel Boulud souffle if you're able, right? If you're capable. So, yeah, when Vinny was like, I'm going to make souffle, and people are like, can you do? Yeah. I wouldn't have said I can do a souffle if I can't. Now, somebody else might have said I can do souffle when they can't, because somebody else said, I'm going to make tarts. She was not able to pull it off.
Oh, yeah. So before we go into the dish, the main elimination challenge, before we go into the main elimination challenge, let's just have another look at the product placement. I loved the shopping was kind of a nothing scene. It usually is. You got your Lana singing about edible herbs, but then we're all like ready to go, and then Padma's there in the thing. Padma, and then Kristen Kish is there in the thing, and she's like, the awkward 2%, except that 2% of $2,500, it's only $50. But none of the chefs realized that until she said it, because like 2%, 50.
You could see they were trying to math.
Right.
But before we even got there, when they were still in the store, Anya is, I spent my childhood tapping birch trees on the outside of Moscow.
Sure.
And foraging for food because they had such a small budget to work with. Now, I have been very lucky that I have never had any kind of food insecurity ever in my life.
Me neither.
So I'm not making fun of her for being poor. It's just, like I said earlier, they are making her the potato girl of the season.
Yep.
And you can tell that the chefs are really enjoying themselves and getting along with each other well. So I do like that part of the shopping that they did.
Yeah, and it's not in that really saccharine, almost fake way that it seemed like was going on.
Right. No, it seems organic.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you caught at one point the Team Brown makes a poop joke.
Yes.
They're like,
They,
Tim Brown, we're streaking away. I read that as a poop joke. Um, but sure. Um, and the green team didn't get much edit time. So let's talk about the challenge. The you get $50 to spend at St. Lawrence Market, which I love those kind of market halls. Like
yeah, yeah.
there's none in Texas, but there's one in Philly. I don't know if there's one in Baltimore. There's one in Sydney,
There's
there's
a
one in Melbourne, there's one in
there's a really
Seattle.
cool one in Cleveland. When I go visit my sister, I always try to make it a point to go there, and tons of pierogies. There's
Really?
a
You
yeah.
surprise me.
Not everybody knows it, but there's a large Polish community in the Cleveland area, so lots of pierogies. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
But so again, at first, obviously they're like, well, we don't want to fuck them up. We don't want to give them we don't want to give them an easy layup. But then the other team's like, we want to fuck them up. Let's get a live eel. Let's do this.
Well,
What about cold
somebody
pizza?
said Massimo is on the other team,
He's
and
gonna
so
fuck us up.
he might fuck us, you know.
Yeah. But it was a Vinny with the let's get him a pizza idea. I'm like, oh, that is kind of cruel. Uh, so in that, I mean, again, I'm not sure why they got truffle oil because he's like, oh, truffle oil doesn't go with anything. It doesn't impart flavor. I'm like,
If it doesn't impart flavor, what are you doing?
bitch, you're
It's
making brunch. Like truffle oil goes with eggs. Like I like egg and truffle really great if you get it again. If you get it right. If you don't, it's like,
right,
ugh. But
right.
what's okay? So it's maple syrup. You got your dish. I mean, have you got it? To be honest, I didn't even come up with what would I do with maple syrup. I tried to just elect to not do it. Do you have I know what I would do with maple syrup.
No, I didn't think about it because there was so much going on with everybody else, but they didn't necessarily say maple syrup. They said a maple component. So I might have tried to do something with maple sugar instead. The idea of making like a rub with maple sugar and some more savory, spicy components, and maybe doing
Yeah.
some kind of pork dish with
Like
a rub on it.
tenderloin or something rolled in the rub and then grilled or something like that. Yeah.
Or even, if you have pressure cookers, you could do, some kind of like pulled pork with that on it.
Yes.
And then incorporate that on maybe over grits or something like that to make it more breakfasty.
I love that. Yeah. Now you're saying maple sugar. I'm thinking creme brulee.
Sure.
For like a dessert idea. Because that sounds cool. But it seems like everyone, like the whole idea of like, oh, now you can throw them a curveball. But no one really got a curveball. It was like, oh, we've got candy. Well, Paula can use the candy, and then old boy can use the cinnamon, and we got him pizza.
I know, the cinnamon, they had to think about that for a minute. And candy corn, and nobody likes candy corn.
No, America, stop. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, if that's your thing, I don't want to yuck your yum. It's not my thing.
No, not mine at all.
But I love that Massimo's team was laughing so hard. Massimo, you could hear him across the market. So the other team was like, oh, they're buying candy for us.
They're fucking with us. Yeah.
And then that's when they decided, go get the truffle oil. And I'm like, that's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
Candy is harder than truffle oil.
Like you could have. It seems like everyone did a reasonably good job in this episode. And again, I like it so far. We're only 2 episodes in, so it might all change, but I just get the feeling it's not going to. At least it feels like the food is good and that they're not struggling to pick the best one. More likely they're struggling to pick the worst one, if that makes sense.
Sure, it does. And I'm also enjoying seeing the chefs working so well together, tasting each other's food, helping with plating. And I get that it was a team challenge, so you want your team to be the winning side. But a lot of times that just doesn't happen where they're all helping each other. And earlier you were talking about Massimo not having any of the, like loud Italian moments in the kitchen where he's, being a dick. Instead, Anya kind of got a little like, get it on the plate. And he's like, relax, like,
Hey, calm it down.
exactly. Calm down. We don't need that.
Cool.
So he definitely did the loud Italian, but it was
In a
like,
positive way, almost.
exactly.
Yeah, like a little stereotype.
Stop freaking out. We're okay.
Little stereotype turnaround. I do. Yeah, he's fast become a favorite character.
Yeah, I'm enjoying him a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, same. So yeah, it seems like they know that everything kind of went well for both teams. Sounds like Brown did better on the maple, but with the Top Chef classic of Brown does better highlighting the maple, but they had the worst dish of the thing, which obviously is the chawanmushi. And we'll get to talk about that because there's a few things I've got to say about that. That's like, but yeah, so the green team overall seemed like they were more mid, but not as big of a clanger as that chawanmushi. And that might have just been an editing thing. Let's go through the dishes. I mean, I kind of want to start almost with the chawanmushi, but we could go through it the way that it came out.
Brown,
let's do that. First, green second.
Yeah.
Shuai's maple pizza toast. I love that. Don't call it a toad in the hole. It's not a toad in the hole. Toad in the hole is a sausage in a Yorkshire pudding. That's what a toad in the hole is. A toad in the hole is a sausage baked into a Yorkshire pudding. Egg in bread is called egg in toast or egg in bread. Toad in the hole is a specific thing.
Maybe in Australia.
Yorkshire, Britain and Australia. No, sure, for sure. If you get toad in the
hole,
but
here you take a piece of toast, you cut the center out, you cook the egg in it. That's toad in a hole here.
Sure. And regardless of nomenclature, and if you want to fight about this for the rest of the day, we can.
No.
But
I'm not like that passionate about toad in the hole.
I feel like the Scallops don't care about what we call it. So, toad in the hole with the maple togarashi, that sounds fucking great. The maple and miso butter, that sounds fucking great. And then he's chopped the pizza up in the middle and like done the marinated yolks in there. Like this is, and I know he says it about the other dish, but to me, just the description of this, the way it looks, everything, this is brunch.
It looks like great. This is definitely
brunch, like 12:30 Sunday afternoon, fourth mimosa, maybe smoking weed at the table. Like that's what I'm having. And even Daniel Beluti's like, your Higgs is runny. Like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Who doesn't want a nice runny yolk? I don't know. I know some people don't. I know some people don't dig on a nice runny yolk, but man, I just love it.
Do you know people that don't?
Probably. Nobody is coming to mind. No, it just this, and I'm glad that I actually took notes about every single one of the dishes because some of these I'm gonna try to either recreate or do something with the ideas. You know, the maple miso butter, the maple and togarashi cured yolk. This sounds really good.
And I think it's sort of cementing Shuai as at least culinarily interesting. Yeah, he's doing interesting shit. He's not like doing wild shit, but he's obviously clever, and that's cool. And is this the kind of shit that you said? Because you said you've been to his restaurant. So is this what you would expect to sort of see at his place, or? It
was kind of an Asian fusion restaurant. So yeah, he put an Asian spin on everything. I mean, that's clearly, what he's gonna gravitate to. Sure. So,
cool. Lana, maple cure salmon with maple crumble, classic, simple, clever, definitely cute. As she says in the shop, she's like, "Oh, it's going to be cute." I'm like, "Oh, I like it just for that."
Yeah, and as much as I like the everything bagel spice, right now everything bagel spice is what bacon and kale were not too many years ago. Everybody's putting
finished.
They're just putting it on everything.
Yeah, it's so last year. Yeah, exactly. I also don't really like everything bagel spice on anything other than an everything bagel.
Okay. I mean, there are some things that I like it on other than a bagel, but yeah, I'm also fine with only having it on bagels.
Right. Again, this is a frustrating dish. it's boring. It's just boring.
A
It's
little
like,
bit.
yeah,
It's safe.
yeah, super safe.
And
Super
honestly,
safe.
I think that this should have been the first dish in the rotation just because it's so light.
Sure. I
So
fully
you want
agree
to,
with that. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, it sort of fucks the progression a little bit.
yeah.
Um, but I think Cesar's poached lobster biscuit, curry biscuit, it's a curry biscuit. What do
Curry
you think of
biscuit
that?
with citrus poached lobster and a maple hollandaise. And, there's so much foreshadowing. He's starting to make the biscuits and they're like, don't overwork it.
Yeah, Big Daddy gives him the clear
And then
admonition.
it's dense and dry and
Yeah.
overworked.
Bro,
So
you got struck by your own edit. Which it kind of sucks because again, are biscuits a southern thing? Is that what we're saying
yeah,
in America?
yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, I'm technically sort of in the South. I
you're
love a biscuit.
definitely in the South.
Well, I'm in Texas.
I know Texas is its own
We don't
thing.
consider ourselves the South. We consider ourselves Texas. That said, biscuits. You fuck up a biscuit, it's disgusting. You get it right, it's perfection. As
Yes.
simple as that. And there's two ways, there's many ways you can fuck up a biscuit. One of them is not cooking it enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other one is to overwork it like that so that it becomes dense, crumbly, and hard to eat. And
Yep.
it's a
You
shame
just-
because
You gotta have ice cold butter. You've got to cut it in. You've got to not overwork
I'm trying to make
it.
I can't do it. I can't make biscuits. No. And it's a shame because the rest of it, the poached lobster, the hollandaise, everything else, Cesar seems to have like a really light, thoughtful, composed sort of touch to the food that he's making. And
It could be a great dish.
Yeah,
It
should be a great
sounds,
dish.
on paper, it looks great,
but if you fuck
but you
the
have to
biscuit-
execute.
Yeah. Also, a curry biscuit, I don't know. I wouldn't have done a curry biscuit. I don't know about the curry. I feel like it's superfluous.
Yeah. I don't know. It could add something to it.
Eventual winner, Zubair. What do you think
Mhm.
about that? I love the sound of what he did. It sounds killer. I mean, it sounds like
It sounds great. It looks great. The only thing I would not be able to touch is that yogurt. I can't be in the same room as an open container of yogurt.
really you don't like the yolks. Oh wow! That face.
I'm offended by yogurt.
Offended by yogurt. Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
my husband loves Greek yogurt. He eats it every single day. He'll come up to me and he'll be like, "Give me a kiss. I'm about to eat yogurt," because he knows he's not going to kiss
Because
afterwards.
after that, it's off.
No.
It's off. No action.
So-
no action after the
So
yogurt.
gross.
Damn.
No.
Okay.
Not until he brushes his teeth and rinses with some Listerine. I don't
Jeez.
know why. It's really weird. I hate yogurt. I can't be in the same room as it. I can eat the shit out of some sour cream. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's just a thing. I don't know. I'm a weird person. It's one of my things.
That's fair. It does mean you're gonna not fuck with those sorts of like things. A lot of that Indian food is Greek food. A lot of that you're gonna.
I can't go to an Indian restaurant because who knows what people around me are going to be eating.
They're gonna be eating yogurt.
I know. I can get
If you
takeout.
go to an Indian restaurant,
Yeah.
someone's gonna have yogurt.
Yeah. There's a great place right down the street. We have done takeout from there, and that's totally cool. Greek food, I can't do tzatziki. I will always do
such a
like
shame.
I'm blanking, a tahini lemon sauce instead of tzatziki.
Yeah, sure.
That's my thing.
But that's such, again, because I want to just, like, again, Greek family. So I'm not Greek. My wife is Greek, but I was married in the Greek church. I'm like as Greek as an Aussie white boy could be. And that
Did you have a big fat Greek wedding?
we did.
Awesome. That's great.
We did, yeah. But one of the standout generational recipes that my wife makes is the tzatziki. She does it in a way that I'm a good cook and I can't do it the same way. It's the way you strain the cucumbers, the way you strain the yogurt, the way you do everything, and it's so good. But it is very yogurt forward, and I dare say you would not like it, which is such a shame. I'm sad on your behalf.
I understand, and I appreciate that because it does limit some of the places that I can go.
Well, That said, though, okay, this is the guy. This is his signature dish. This has launched 3 restaurants for him. The tandoori fried chicken with, the maple edition. Yeah, for sure. I bet you it's fucking off the chain, yogurt notwithstanding. I had a question, though. What episode? To remind me which episode this is? 2. So this is the thing that launched his career. This is the thing that's allowed him to open 3 restaurants. This was named one of the best sandwiches in Chicago, which is alongside the Italian beef.
I know, yeah.
The wet,
yeah.
Which is probably the greatest sandwich conceived by humankind.
It's pretty good.
So he's got that kudos with this fried chicken. 2nd episode?
You don't want to hold too many things in your back pocket, because what if you don't make the thing that you're holding on to? You make something else, and because of that, you get kicked off the show.
Feel you? I feel like you have to have enough. Yes, of course, that's the risk. But if it's the signature dish that's stopping you from getting kicked off the show, you're going to get kicked off the show the next episode, right?
I see that.
And I feel like this is one of those things. This is a maple syrup challenge, right? And so he did his signature dish and added maple to it. Oh, sorry, not maple syrup. It's a maple challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He did his signature dish and added maple to it. I just feel like if it was me and I had something this good, like potentially one of the best sandwiches in Chicago, I would have kept it past episode 2.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But, again, my notes, I wrote down, you better win with this. You drop your biggest bomb on the 2nd day, you better win with this. And he does. And that's cool. And so, kudos. It's obviously great. Daniel Boulud says this is the quintessential brunch, which, again, you can feel that. It's got the sweetness. It's got the corn cake. It's the fried chicken. Yeah, for sure.
And
great.
What an amazing thing to hear as you're, at the table, to have that compliment from Daniel Boulud. He walked back into the kitchen on air. He was so happy.
Telling everyone else, Daniel Boulud said that this was a quintessential brunch.
Yeah.
So, fuck you bitches, I'm going to win. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, obviously, again, he wins. He deserves the win. I'm totally okay with it. It's great. It's totally great. Followed by Tristan, who I think is boring. I think the maple jerk, steak and grits. He does the thing with the red hot candies and the jerk. Cool. Steak and rice grits. Rice grits. I don't know about that.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing with just make grits?
Grits or rice. You know.
I don't understand the rice grits. Maybe they're great. Maybe they're
I bet
great.
they're not.
I don't know.
Maybe they are.
I don't know.
The steak was beautifully cooked, but again, it's just a bit mid. And to wrap up, not to wrap up, actually, there's 2 more left. Corwin, worst dish of the day by far. Yeah,
and at
really.
The beginning, he said that he could pull it off. I think part of the problem is that he made it in too large of a dish. Make a much smaller chawanmushi. It doesn't have to be in the oven for quite as long.
I did not even think about that.
They're eating 14 different things.
Sure. You don't
it
need to
doesn't
give them
need to
a gallon of egg custard. Yeah,
exactly. It can be a much smaller,
perfect bite.
Exactly. I think that was his downfall.
The sound of it: rum, maple, tamarind, pork belly. That sounds fucking amazing. Give me
Hell
that.
yeah. Yeah.
And I don't love chawanmushi. I don't love the texture. But if you're saying it's the tits, I'll take it. But it had better be.
Yeah.
And obviously his mate, Tristan's like, bro, you doing this for real? Can you do it? And he's like, yeah, I can do it. But you can't. Why? Why would you do it with 30 servings? Like, I can see why you would do this for 4 people. If you had to make 4 people, you could make that perfect for sure. 30 servings, that's hard. And
there have been chefs who have done chawanmushi or, steamed eggs or, something very similar in their finales where they had to cook for a whole restaurant of people. So
Maylin does it, or either Maylin or I think Maylin comes to mind. I don't know if she did actually, but yeah, you're right. There's definitely been a finale chawanmushi.
Yeah, there've definitely been finale chawanmushis. So it's not outside of the realm of something that can be done. He just didn't get it in the oven fast enough.
And did they mean to have the plastic on mine? Imagine, again, so first contrast with the quintessential brunch. That's what Daniel Boulud says about your dish. Contrast that with Oh, is this supposed to have a plastic wrap on it like it's a hospital or a school cafeteria?
Yeah. So this team had the best dish and the worst dish.
It's like, oh, yeah. But he gets a pass. Lucky bastard, because that would be a go home. If he was
Yes.
in the bottom team, that would be a go home.
Yeah. And he got $5,000 for
Right, for fucking his team.
terrible
Potentially. For
chawanmushi.
bad chawanmushi. Yeah. So, and then to round off the brown team, that's Paola with the French toast. Yeah. I mean, she did a great job doing all of the things. Tom gives it the thumbs up, and he notoriously hates sweet desserts, apparently.
I mean, you had to use the candy corn in something and the peach gummies. So Italian meringue with peach gummies, candy corn and maple creme anglaise, French toast, some peach and orange with maple to, lighten it up a little bit with some fruit. It sounded really good.
Was it going to win? Would it have the way it came out in that? Would you, like, according to, as far as you're concerned, was it a winner? Would it have been a winner from out the gate?
That's the thing. Would it have been? And
candy corn or not? In fact,
are
if
you going to
anything,
win with French toast? It better be a really fucking amazing French toast.
I'm going to say no, because it has to be the best French toast you've ever had. It has to be. And it wasn't going to be. And I think she actually gets kudos. She probably gets her dish elevated because she got the challenge ingredients.
Yes. I'm just not convinced that Paula's going to make it too far in this competition.
Nope. I like her, but yeah, I agree with you.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's the brown team. They did good. Obviously, they did the maple thing. They won. It's clear. Great. No dramas. Let's go. Green team, starting off strong. I love the fucking sound of this. Katiana's maple cured salmon tartare with whipped tofu, preserved Meyer lemon, white soy and maple vinaigrette, nori, and furikake, like homemade furikake. That sounds fucking super.
And the little daikon maple leaves that she made.
Yes.
Yeah. I love whipped silken tofu. It's just, it's really good. So
yeah,
I thought that
fully
it was
agree.
Yeah.
But it just, the whole thing was sort of, again, a bit mid. I feel like this has been her problem so far. I feel like she's interesting. She's got a personal story. She's cooking her own food, but it hasn't really, the rocket hasn't took off the ground yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't exploded in mid-flight, but it hasn't really took off yet. Whereas the other cat, congee with maple bacon chili crisp, the jammy egg, maple bacon. Shit Creek Girl says something I would never have ordered. I disagree with that. I love congee. I love rice congee. If it's on a menu,
I've never had it.
Really?
I want to. I want to because I think it's something that I would really, really like. I've just never had it.
It's one of those things. It's a vehicle for doing all sorts of other great flavors. It can take really rich things, really salty things. It can take sweet and savory. It's a great brunch. It's a great breakfasty brunch dish.
Tom said it was a good hangover dish.
Yeah, that's perfect way to describe congee in general and when you get it right. Someone on Reddit, I can't remember, said congee continues to be a cheat code on Top Chef. And it kind of is, because it's the ricey slurry sort of really is what brings a whole lot of sometimes disparate flavors together. And
yet sometimes people don't do a good congee on Top Chef.
The secret, again, it's a bit like risotto. Secret is the rice. If you don't cook the rice right, everything else is shit.
Dawn in season 20, World All Stars, she messed up the black rice.
That's right.
In her congee.
Ended up being like a floury sort of it's supposed to be like a soup almost, but not quite a soup. Yeah, I love congee. I have a rice cooker that has an automatic congee setting.
Oh, cool.
Which makes it really great to make really great congee. It's really easy because the rice cooker has a button.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is
Anya.
My favorite Russian.
Srniki with whipped maple syrup, macerated strawberries, and Siberian pine cone jam. I mean, I already love the idea of whipped maple syrup, and it's like a cheesecake souffle pancake thing.
Deep fried
Looks good.
Fried thing. Yeah. there's a few different Balkan Russian-y versions of this like cheesy pancake type thing, and I bet you it's fucking good. The one thing in her favor, right? She is season 22's because it's a Russian thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to her credit, she cooks all those Russian things really good. Obviously, she can do all of those things really
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
At that like elevated thing. I also love the communist era black and white baby photos of her. But again, in the same vein as Zubair, what you doing? You bring your fucking pine cones out? Like, you brought them from home. They're special. You only get to use them once. If you use them again, they will say, we've seen these pine cones. They're not interesting anymore. Her team didn't even win the fucking thing. So she pulled out her, like, secret Pokemon card or whatever. And what happens? Like, yeah, it just, I get it. Everyone was, like, jazzed on it. But she wasn't going to win it. I don't think she would have won the challenge if her team had won. And yeah, the only question I had is, she says there's fresh cheese from Canadian milk, and so I wondered, did she make the fresh cheese in the time?
She did.
Okay, cool.
They showed it. Yeah.
I try to bitch about it. That's a cool thing.
You can buy candied young pine cones. It's a Siberian delicacy, or pine cone preserves with cedar nuts. Amazon has everything, man. Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna. You really taste the forest, okay? But like,
do you want to taste the forest?
It seems like she made a dish just so she could pull out the pine cones. And again, I say, do that when there's like 10 chefs.
I don't know.
Chefs.
She's like, you want a brunch dish? I have a good brunch dish.
Yeah,
it was. It was very well received. So it did what it needed to do.
All right, I'm a hater. I'll shut up.
No, not at all.
Look, yeah, again, I don't love the Russian stereotype character that they are editing into her. She's not going to last long, but
I don't know. I think she's someone who is underestimated right now, which can be a mistake. I think that she is one to watch. I'm very intrigued by her and by some of the dishes that she's making. So I want to see more from her.
Sure. Okay, let's get on to Henry's hot fart oil fried chicken.
I thought that too, and he was like, "It smells like farts." Poor thing.
So,
and he's right. That the oil was hammered. There was
what you do. He's got nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I love the sound of the dish. I love the look of the dish, but it's the worst fault with the fried chicken when the inside is good and the outside is bad.
Yeah.
It's the worst fried chicken you can eat, and it's disgusting. But unfortunately, he's committed to it. He doesn't have time to change the oil. It's not possible. He couldn't have done it a different way. Like, that is a cook in the deep fryer sort of thing. He couldn't have put a pot on the stove with duck fat. Like, there wasn't really an alternative to do that fried chicken other than in the fryer, in the oil that smells bad and is too hot.
Yeah.
So
the combination of the seasonings that he was putting on it versus what Zubair had put on his chicken, obviously, were just not going to be a good mix.
Yep.
And he did have the oil too hot too.
But even then, what do you do about that?
I know,
like,
it's that's not going to change.
15 minutes. He can't wait 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, Gail gets a driblet of gravy. Everyone else is talking about pools of gravy, and Gail gets a driblet, and that kind of is it weird to say that it was hot when Gail was talking about a driblet? I got a little excited.
There's a lot of things that Gail talks about that is super hot.
Yeah,
when she talks about it.
Yeah, she has like a saucy suburban mum type vibe where you're like, she's kind of dull but not dull. She's kind of saucy and sexy, and like, she's almost the Canadian Nigella Lawson.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way to put it. I think Gail is super hot. Since the very first time she showed up on the show, I love that she is voluptuous.
Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. I love that she's voluptuous.
She's banging, and Kristen is gorgeous in her own way, but she's so tall and slender, and
right. Nice to have a little meat on the bone.
a typical model, where then we get Gail, who, is just beautiful and I don't
Not
know.
afraid of fried chicken and mum jeans.
Exactly.
So, okay, I have a question for you and all of you American scallops. What is General Tso's chicken?
Breaded, deep fried chicken. It's usually got some like Szechuan peppers in it, a spicy sauce.
Okay, so it's fried chicken. It is a fried chicken
Yeah, yeah.
type thing. Okay, we don't have that in Australia, and I don't know what it is. So, okay, cool. I mean, I feel sad for Henry. I feel like he kind of, like, it was sort of a not even like a problem. He didn't like suffer from a great catastrophe. It was just like he had a dish that maybe wasn't like, was probably a 6 out of 10. Although he says that it's on the menu at his restaurant.
And him and Evelyn from another season.
In Houston. I'm gonna have to go there and check it out. But
yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I did feel sad for him. I feel like he deserves his space on the bottom.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Now let's turn to old brown-nosed Vinny with his maple cheddar souffle. He made a...
I can't believe Daniel said that about him.
I can. Because it's true. He was like, you could see it in his face. You could hear it in his demeanor. You could feel everything that, like, he was like, oh, Daniel Boulud asked for a souffle, so I'm going to do it. ... And that's going to make me win. It's like, bro, you're going to have to make the best fucking souffle of your life if you're going to win with a souffle on Daniel Boulud.
It's not necessarily going to make him win, but it is certainly going to show the judges that he has technique, because souffles are not easy to do, especially when you've got to serve 30 of them at the same time. And I agree with him. Daniel Boulud he says, I love souffle. Make him souffle. He's giving you the biggest hint. This is something I would like to see.
He also has immunity. He has immunity, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants, which is great.
Yeah, but having immunity on a team challenge, if you can't pull it off, you sink the team.
Which, again, he did not do.
Correct. Other people sank the team.
Right. Let's go in for that first bit. Massimo steak and eggs. Yeah, it's cool. Boring.
It was a nice, classy steak and eggs, though. I agree with Gail when she said that it wasn't like a big hunk of steak. And then the maple lasagna bordelaise. I mean, you had to do something with that lasagna. But yeah, it wasn't maple forward enough. That's...
I just don't, again, it's one of those things. It just seemed like it obviously wasn't he's going home for this, but you can see he's never winning for that dish.
Yeah, he's not going to win with that.
But it's only episode 2. So.
And then Bailey.
Oh, poor Bailey. Maple tart with pine nuts and brown butter. And she said something about a pineapple. Does the pineapple actually show up?
She said pineapple. I don't think she said pine nuts.
Pine nuts and brown butter.
Yeah.
It was pineapple and brown butter.
Yes.
Ooh, okay, that's writing it down wrong. But this should have been a fucking winner. She could have won with this, right? If she had done the perfect eggy tart, cooked properly with the brown butter and maple.
It was the cornmeal.
Why the
she
fuck
put the cornmeal?
Why?
Yeah, and when her filling broke, that was it. She didn't have time to redo it and have it be great. Yep. I don't understand why you would put cornmeal in custard.
So she claimed during the thing, she says, oh, it's for texture and grit.
Nobody wants grit.
I don't want grit.
No, not in custard. Nobody wants fucking grit in custard.
I don't want grit.
What?
In my grits.
It just...
It's just the only time that polenta is ever appropriate as grit, the only time cornmeal is ever appropriate as quote unquote grit is on the bottom of a pizza.
Sure, yeah. And then 2 people did this. She put honey and maple into it.
So dumb.
And Henry also used honey and maple. Why? It doesn't make any sense.
And Tom and Gail both were like, wait, honey and maple? Why? What are you doing? And she's like, oh, viscosity. Yeah. I feel that.
Somebody should have stopped her. Somebody should have said, why are you why are you buying honey? You don't
And
need honey. We have maple.
and when you think about it, the honey, it's almost as although they're both sweet, and you think, oh, they'll go together. They're almost the antithesis of one another. Like the honey is going to take the mapleosity away from
Well,
the
and if you're
maple.
looking for viscosity, cook it down a little.
Or like Tom says, drop another egg in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. She's sweet and go down the wrong way.
Absolutely. Oh,
Take your time.
it's my own homemade ginger beer with turmeric and chili, and it's now in my nose holes.
Oh, go blow your nose. Maybe that'll
Yeah,
help.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to, can we take a quick break? Because I need to get that out of my
Absolutely.
face.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, fuck. All right, back we come. Okay. Shall we? Do you want to do? I can end it and then do a start it again, and like you can restart your computer or restart Chrome or whatever, if that'll work. Yeah, do that. Yeah, for sure, do that, and then I'm going to stop the recording. Okay. Back.
So Bailey, big shocker. Her tarts aren't really finished.
Yeah. I feel sad for her because, and she says it in Last Chance Kitchen, and she sort of says it. She's definitely the victim of the edit from hell. Like she's gotten everything stacked up against her in the edit. But it seems like she's doing things that she's like bangs on about being from the best Italian restaurant in Chicago. Cool. Even the other is like, oh, you're from Monteverde? Okay. Cool. And then she's not doing the things that she's like, that are her wheelhouse type things. So,
well, and she says pastry's not really my thing. But at the beginning of the, when they announced what the challenge was, and somebody said we should end with one or two sweet things, she was like, I can do something
straight up,
sweet.
I'll do it.
What?
Yeah.
If it's not your thing, what the fuck are you doing?
Stay the fuck away.
Don't offer to do dessert. It's season 22. Honey, don't offer to do dessert if you can't fucking pull off dessert.
And she says it. I don't know if she says it in this one or in Last Chance Kitchen, but she's like, I've watched a lot of Top Chef, and I've like watched it asking chefs, what are you doing? It's like, right. So
what are you doing?
That? Also, if you don't come to Top Chef with a dessert recipe that you can do every time in under 20 minutes.
Yeah. At least one, but really preferably 2 or 3.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one with eggs, one without.
Yeah.
One in the oven, one not. Like, yeah, because if you have that, then you can be like, okay, cool. I do this. I've been practicing this fantastic egg tart that I know I can make in an hour, which gives me a whole hour to spare. I'll just add some maple to it and adjust it for the challenge.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, I'll just do a thing. And then I'll put polenta in the filling. I don't want that. So
nobody wants.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously far and away the worst dish of this team. I still maintain that the chawanmushi was a bigger fail.
Yeah, but he was lucky that he was on the winning team.
Right, your boy's on the winning team. So, yeah. Again, one of the nice things, what I love about, it's nice when the show sort of comes together in that way where you're like, I'm not surprised that Zubair won. I'm not surprised that Bailey goes home. I don't feel bad about Bailey going home. Her vocal fry pissed me off. That like, I'm like a real kind of millennial girl, whatever. So I'm not super sad to see her go. She's kind of sexy, which, obviously is like a hard thing to see leave, but,
Yeah, losing Chef Bailey, not at all a surprise. But one thing I wanted to bring up, when they went back to the stew room before they found out whether it was going to be her or Henry who went home, Massimo he's building her back up. He's like, I saw how hard you pushed to get this done. You really did a great job. He was being so positive with her. Again, I've misjudged Massimo in the first episode. And I think that I hope that I continue to be surprised by him.
Yeah, for sure. They're definitely either building us up for a you didn't see this coming moment with Massimo one way or another, where he turns out to be an absolute sweetheart, or they build him from being, you thought he was a loudmouth. He's not a loudmouth. He's a yogi and a cool guy. No, actually, he's a loudmouth.
I mean, I think you can be both.
Sure. But yeah, sad to see her go. As far as the other characters and sort of the development of each of the stories, I have a feeling that she'll probably do well in Last Chance Kitchen. I feel like she has like already got a redemption story. It's a long road to walk from episode 2 to back in the show, but they might do a mid season
They normally do.
injection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's her. So moving down the list,
I kind of would be.
you think it won't be
I
her?
don't think that she's going to make it out of Last Chance Kitchen.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, we'll see. I could certainly be wrong.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see, as you say, wait and see. As far as the rest of the character development goes, we didn't get much from Paula this episode. She didn't, no real story there. She's got the Ecuador to Tennessee story. It's Tennessee, Kentucky, whatever she's at.
I think it's Kentucky.
She's got a cool accent. I don't think she's got the caliber that the rest of the chefs have. I mean, it's only two episodes, but I can see her going early.
Yeah. Agreed.
Henry, my boy from Houston, he gets a little bit of a story this ep. He gets like the mum's unrepeatable scallion pancake.
Yeah.
Also, the weird relationship with Evelyn. Everyone thinks they're married. I like him though. He's fun. He's friendly. He's got the moustache on an otherwise hairless man, which is a statement. I felt when he obviously was making that mistake, I instantly was like, oh, fuck, man, I don't want to see that guy go yet. Like, I feel like he's got some creativity in him genuinely, but we'll see. I'm not sure where to sit with Henry yet. Like, I don't know if he's going to be he did one interesting thing and then he went home in episode 4.
What do you think of Caesar?
Caesar, I like him. He hasn't had a big amount of narrative development yet. He's cooked a couple of interesting things, which I really like. I get a vibe that I really like him. He's got quite soft personality, which I don't know, I find endearing. He comes across as thoughtful in what he cooks, at least so far. I can see him sort of finding a stride and then starting to improve and sort of following it through. I get the feeling that he's less likely to make mistakes and more likely to just do something that's not quite right. Like try something that's like a bit weird and go, oh yeah, that's mid. You're not losing, but you're not winning. And then get to like when there's only 6 chefs and be like, I'm still here. Massimo. He got the biggest development this season, episode, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said before, I thought he was just going to be a loud Italian douchebag, and while he is a loud Italian, I don't think he's a douchebag. Open
your pelvic floor.
Open the pelvic floor. I am enjoying his character development. I definitely want to see more. He's a more positive person than I thought he was going to be, and I love that I was wrong about him.
Right, that's it. It's a nice, and it's kind of not like the producers aren't giving you a slap in the face from that. It's like, we bait and switched you. We gave you a loud Canadian Italian, and we figured that you were gonna not like him from the beginning. Like we almost painted him as a villain.
Yes.
But he's not. He's a cool guy.
With the edit of the commercials that they were showing, the promos, he definitely looked like he was going to be a dick. And
Isn't.
Yeah, I think he's not a dick.
Corwin, you got anything from him yet?
I would like to see more. I think that, rum maple tamarind glazed pork belly. That so part good. Of it sounded fantastic. Over chawamushi also sounds fantastic. He just couldn't quite execute. I do think that he's got more to show us. But unfortunately, so far, out since it's episode 2, his character development has been to, go down, and it's hard to come back up.
Yeah, that is the truth. Who else do you like? What else you got?
Um, Zubair, he's definitely one to watch.
Yep. Yep. They're definitely putting him in the
Mm-hmm.
top of the list sort of thing. But he definitely has a style. He's got the Indian, the food truck, the blah, blah, blah. He's confident, but not a wanker. Like he's kind
Yeah,
of, which is really good.
he
The thing
seems
I
like
wrote,
he seems like a dad, you know, just like,
yes, sure.
you know,
Yep.
he's got that comforting, let me give you a hug kind of dad vibe coming off of
Right.
him, and I
But
love that.
maybe with a little bit of firm, don't do this way next time.
Sure, yeah.
Kind of vibe. Like, do I want him to win? No. Do I want to see him crowned top chef? Already, I'm gonna tell you no. Do I expect him to continue to the end of the competition? Yes.
I think he's going to go really far. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
Um uh Same about Vinny. He's got the intensity, he's got a background, he's got a thing. I can see him being polarizing. It's hard not to like him. I think he is set up for the long haul in the show. I think he's got a long arc. You feel the same way about Anya, right?
I do. I think she's got a lot more to show us, you know. Um I hope that she surprises us by giving us more. I mean, it, all and she can stick with Russian food. There's a lot out there.
There's a
So,
deep bench. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's not something that Americans or Canadians are used to, for sure. Um,
Okay.
I've been to a Russian restaurant once. It was good. The service was weird.
Could you
Um,
see her being the next top chef?
I don't know. I no, unfortunately, but I would still like to see more from her. I'd like to see her, you know, go at least halfway.
I feel that. I'll pay that. I'll put that halfway. Yep. Yep, for sure. 10 chefs left. She'll be, or what? It's 7 chefs left. She'll be there. Yeah, I can see that. Um, who have we missed out so far? Lana. I want to like Lana so much. I like her. She is fucking winning. She is winning the fashion stakes of the chef testings.
Yeah,
For
she's cute.
sure.
Yeah.
She's had 2 jumpsuits. She's had a leotard, unitard, wrestling tard, onesie
Hmm.
tard, whatever tard it is. Floral. She's a lot of floral pieces. Stylish. She's got the eyes. She's got the version of the millennial voice that I actually like because it's
Sure.
real rather than put on.
Yeah.
Um, wow, that makes me feel old. Um, but she doesn't get much of a story yet. I feel like she's underwhelmed me a little bit.
Yeah. She hasn't done anything that is like wow, you know. I'm not and I want more wow from her because I think that she's got that in her. Um
Great.
so
Great.
we'll see. You know, maybe next week she'll wow us. I think Shui is gonna go far. Shui. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
for sure.
Shui. They seem
Yep.
to be pronouncing it Shui. I actually made a
Shui.
note of it. So yeah, sorry about that, Shui.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna go far. I think he's definitely gonna make it to at least, you know, 5 or 6. At
Yeah, he's got a
least.
nice vibe too. Like he's kind of friendly and fun and he's humble, but
Yes.
also creative and I'd be interested to see if his preparation goes beyond poutine.
Sure.
Like if
Yeah.
he's done, obviously Buddha comes like you can't not like he's the Asian guy, so you've got like is he the Buddha low Asian stereotype that is now like a character on Top Chef? Probably not, but like yeah, does he have that watched this? I've watched Restaurant Wars 1,000 times and I know how to do it and blah blah blah. I don't know if he's that level, but it definitely feels like he might have some forethought with the food that he's
Mm-hmm.
going to cook.
Sure.
Whereas none of the others really have that telegraphed in their narrative edit, where they're like, "I
Sure.
know how to win Top Chef."
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
the other one that I'm like, I really want to like, but can't justify yet is Katiana. I love her
Agreed.
story. I love her culinary background. I feel like she just keeps underperforming. It's
She's in the middle. You know, you said before that you were underwhelmed. With her, I'm just whelmed, and I want more. I want to see her break out and do more.
for sure,
So yeah.
for sure. Kat, she's got a short life. I think she'll get stumped. She'll get stumped by a technical challenge. She's a personal chef. She's on the personal chef train.
Yeah.
This challenge, the poutine and the maple syrup challenge, maple whatever challenge, both of those suit a personal chef because they don't. It's open. You can play to your strengths, play to what you want, do the techniques you know how to do. There's nothing in here where it's like, if you haven't worked in a commercial kitchen for in a hard service for, for your whole career, you will not know this. There are some things that I can cook that are really amazing, but there are some things that I just can't do because I don't have that training. I don't have that time in the career. And the personal chef, that at least it seems like they're painting her, doesn't. I feel like she's not going to be a top 5.
And
except for outfits.
She could be, yeah, her outfits are pretty on point, but she could be cooking awesome food. But then when she gets into the kitchen and it's a crazy rush dinner service, she might not be able to execute the way she would be able to if she was in Billy Corgan's kitchen.
Yes, that is exactly, that's it. I think she'll fail on a technicality. She'll fail on the technicalities that the other chefs are just to have in the bag.
If she makes it to Restaurant Wars, I think that might be as far as she goes.
All right, let's put a pin in that and see what happens. If Kat makes it to Restaurant Wars, will that be her exit? I don't disagree with that.
I mean, she's obviously a good chef. She makes good food. It's just the environment.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So is that it? Is that all the characters?
Did we talk about Tristan?
Yeah, I don't get much from him yet.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot to offer.
It seems like he does. He's low-key chucked out some good advice. Like on this episode 2 times, he was in there with the don't overwork the dough for Cesar and side-eyeing on the chawanmushi.
Yep.
Like, don't do that.
Yep.
So he obviously understands what's going on. Has he produced anything really amazing yet? Yeah. Second episode.
We'll see. But yeah, I think that we've gone through them all now.
That's it. Who do you want? Fast forward to the end of the season. Who are you, when they say you are Top Chef? Who is going to resonate with you the most?
Shui.
So far. Shui?
Shui. I did it again.
Shui.
Shui and Lana. If we can see more from Lana, I would like her to go for it. So Shui and Lana are the 2 that I'm really most excited about. How about you?
I want to agree with you. I want to pop in my boy from Houston just because.
Henry?
Houston. Yeah, I just because Texas. But I genuinely like what it seems like he does. He's got a kind of thoughtful creativity that's cool. Yeah.
And he works with Evelyn, and Evelyn made it to the finale of her season. It's just that she happened to be in a finale with Buddha, and
what you gonna do about that?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Buddha was exceptional. So I mean, he's obviously got something to offer if he's working with Evelyn.
But as far as the rest of them so far, yeah, like Lana, I do agree with you. I want already to like her so much. I want her food to be as good as how much I like
her personality.
Offering, her character, her offering, her personality. If it comes that way, I can see her getting the first Black woman Top Chef thing. If not, I can see her going out towards the back end of the season and not coming back in, crashing out. It being like a surprise where it's like she just fucked up and you're like, oh, dang. Okay,
or if she ends up in Last Chance Kitchen, I think that she might get out of Last Chance Kitchen and come back.
Right. So we'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out. All right. Well, speaking of Last Chance Kitchen.
Tom is sick of brunch.
Sick of brunch. Tom doesn't like brunch. Canadian bacon. What's that mean to you?
So, yes, it does mean the little floppy bits of ham that you put on, breakfast dishes. I don't love it. But it always makes me think of, I was watching a baseball game. I think it was the Orioles against Toronto, but it was definitely the Toronto Blue Jays, because somebody was holding up a sign that said, "Your bacon is ham." And I loved that. So
sure. Yeah, I never tried it, really. I'm not probably jazzed on it. It seems like it's all of the things that I like about bacon are not there.
Yeah, and I love bacon. It's not bacon, it's just not the floppy little things that we get on a, eggs Benedict here, and the female bacon. Again, it's not really
Yeah.
bacon.
No, with it. So the thing in Australia, the bacon that we get, when you get the whole bacon, you get the pork belly bacon and you get the Canadian bacon
Oh, cool.
all in the one thing. They don't separate the loin. You get the round rasher and you get the long belly rasher.
Okay.
So you get like a thin end and a fat end. But that's not what we get in Texas. We get American bacon in Texas. So yeah,
Of course,
I don't know.
it's Texas. They're not
Course.
they're not going to be having Canadian
No
bacon all over
foreign-
the place.
No foreign bacon. No. Yeah, I'm stoked that Ying is still there. She's cool and such a fun character.
She's finished. Make sure you're finished. Don't do what I did. She's precious. She's such a great little cheerleader.
It's a shame she's not cooking, but whatever. The weird Canadian boy, what's his name? Is it Sam?
Sam.
Yeah, he's so boring.
Yeah, and I mean, I was hopeful for Mimi because when I looked at that, my first thought was pork schnitzel. So I had high hopes when she said, I'm going to do a pork schnitzel. And I'm like, cool, that's what I would do. She just, once again, wasn't able to.
She fucked it up.
I mean, she's just against people who are better than her right now.
Sure. And yeah, at least she got a few bucks. She got like $3,000 or something, $2,000 before she.
$5,000 in the first.
She got $5,000.
First quick fire.
Well, still, and then she got fired. Well, same. I don't know about the sandwich. Like it's so. He's such a dork. He's like, he even like during the cooking, he like helps out Bailey. He's like, oh, do you need maple syrup? I've got some.
He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of personality.
None. He's Canadian.
He's just not charismatic.
He's good looking.
He's handsome, yeah.
But yeah, I can't see him. I don't see him getting injected into the show.
And if he did, I think the rest of the chefs would be like, he's so dry. Like, and, maybe he's just nervous in front of the cameras.
He's just Canadian. They're just going to hate me.
But yeah, Tom said an elevated dish for dinner service. And he's like, I'm going to make a sandwich.
Make a sandwich.
Yeah, you can eat a sandwich for dinner, but that's not an elevated dish for dinner service, in my opinion.
Wouldn't have thought the sandwich was the appropriate option for that challenge. But up against the shitty schnitzel, great, go for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bailey got her redemption. Again, I wrote down, if she goes back to her Italian roots and stays there, I see the setup of her staying through Last Chance Kitchen. I do wonder, I think as you kind of brought up, does she have the fortitude to do 10 weeks or whatever it is, or 5 weeks in Last Chance Kitchen? That's a tough one. Because the difference with Last Chance Kitchen is you're always at an elimination challenge on the bottom.
Quick fire.
You're always on the bottom.
You're always you're always at an elimination, but it's also always a quick fire. You've usually got
you're always
30 minutes.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
And you're always at risk of going home.
One of the things that some people liked about being in Last Chance Kitchen is I didn't have time to overthink it. So I did well. And then they get back in and they're like, shit, I have all of these ideas for this thing. And I've got plenty of time, and that kind of fucks them sometimes.
So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, again, what I like, I feel like sometimes the Last Chance Kitchen, it seems really separate from the show. This season, watching it straight after doesn't feel like a massive jump. It sort of is like, it feels connected to the show in that it's the repechage round for the return to competition sort of thing. I feel like they're doing that well.
Well, it's also different for me personally, because when I was watching it on Bravo and I had cable, I wasn't going to go to my computer later and watch it. But since now I'm watching it streaming through Peacock and Last Chance Kitchen comes on right after, it makes sense to just continue watching and see what happens next.
Agreed. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I've got in my notes now to talk about outfits, but only thing really need to talk about is I feel like first we already covered it. Lana's winning the outfit game. That jumpsuit, Kristen Kish's jumpsuit, the white jumpsuit with the broad chocolate stripe and the suit coat collar, coming up the stairs to go into Daniel Boulud, Cafe Boulud or whatever. It's like, shut the front door. That is fucking incredible with the chains and the chain earring.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
so
her
good.
style, and I wonder how much of it is her style and how much of it is, the wardrobe people. They always have her in pants. And I think that might be part of just playing up her androgyny.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. She's got the body for it. B, apparently she's got the lifestyle for it. Yeah, for sure. I think you said that and I was like almost to pause. I'm like, can I sort of think about Kristen Kish in like a pencil skirt?
In a pencil skirt, sure.
But even then I feel like she might look like a teenage boy in a pencil skirt.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm fine with her wearing the pantsuits and everything.
So hot,
yeah,
so beautiful.
And when I say
so
pantsuit, it's in a hot way. It's not in a Hillary Clinton pantsuit kind of way.
Heaven forbid.
Yes.
All right, mate. Well, next week, hockey and Jamaican patties or something.
The pasties are basically empanadas, hand pies.
Hand pies is what you call them. We just call them pies.
I mean, it depends on where you are. It's kind of like a dumpling. Most cultures have a dumpling. Most cultures have a hand pie of some kind. So yeah, I'm excited.
I also am excited. This season is going great. I'm really loving it. I haven't been shocked by anything. I haven't been fucked up by anything. I haven't been disappointed by anything. All the decisions seem right. The editing is good. The narrative is good. The enthusiasm's there. The chefs are good.
Yes.
Like, the chefs are good. That's what's doing it for me this season, is that the actual chefs are good. The food that they're cooking translates well. I like it all.
I'm jazzed.
So,
yeah.
Jazzed.
So
fully jazzed, mate.
Yep.
Fully jazzed.
Jazzed.
Well, that's about
it
for me.
Until next week.
Yeah. What did we say again? Is it all right? Utensils down. Remind me. Oh, it's good. I like the sign off.
Yeah, I don't remember. It wasn't hands up, utensils down. Fuck, maybe I just pull it up that part of it.
Sometime this week, I'll try and set up all of the website stuff with a potential donation link and Patreon and all that kind of shit.
Hang on, I'm hearing you and this.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're listening to it? Yeah.
I just want to get that last bit so that we can edit that in. We did say hands up, utensils down. And then we said, I said hands up, utensils down. You said, it's not Top Scallop. And then we both said, bye, Scallops.
Okay, I love that. Okay, I guess I'll lead in with something like, all right, that's pretty much all I've got. Looking forward to the next episode. And then you can do your line. And then, all right, see you later, Scallops, or bye, Scallops, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. All right, Christy, I think that sums it up for me. That's all I've got. I really enjoyed season 22 in Canada, episode 2. Really looking forward to next week.
Sure. And until then, hands up, utensils down.
All right. Okay. Bye, Scallops.
Bye,
See you next
Scallops.
week.